There have been a number of important polls over the last couple of weeks showing that support for Donald Trump from one of his key groups is completely collapsing. And that group is Gen Z voters ages 18 to 29. I don't know if any of y'all have combed through Catalyst's post-mortem of the 2024 election, but in that data, we find out that not only did 39% of Gen Z vote for Donald Trump, but 54% of Gen Z men voted for Trump. Right, which is why we saw the DNC have this post-election panic saying that they needed to pour millions and millions of dollars into studying how to reach Gen Z men. What kind of phrasing should they be using? How can the DNC get hip to the youth and reach young men? And there's been a significant amount of discourse around this issue for a number of years because even before the 2024 election, there were concerns about how the right was very good at capturing young men. And there's all this conversation of we need a Joe Rogan of the left, we need a Charlie Kirk of the left, we need a Jordan Peterson of the left. And we could argue about whether or not Hassan Piker already fills that role. I would say that Eric Salvia of Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric also fills that role. But we saw all these young men who thought, like, this is my chance to do capitalism, this is my chance to do an Ezra Klein and to, hop on this train and become a podcaster for the left. I'm going to capture all of these young men and I'm going to make myself famous and whatever in the interim. And, we saw the Unfuck America tour and all of these other disastrous attempts at trying to replicate what the right was doing, but like capture young men for the DNC. Okay. I'm sorry. It's the mom of two teenage boys. I just find that really funny. Two teenage boys who already listened to Hassan Piker and also Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric. Anyway, the boys on the Unfuck America tour are 0% interesting to them. Of course, you could argue, well, Angela, those are your children and you live in Portland, and so whatever. Okay. But while we're on the topic of young white men in particular, but young men voting for Donald Trump and now suddenly realizing like, oh shit, the economy really sucks. My future doesn't look too great. I'm not cheesed with what he's doing in this country. When I said deport the illegals, I didn't mean my girlfriend or my wife. I didn't mean, my buddy that I shoot hoops with. I didn't mean that at all. So suddenly we're seeing all of these young men who are just not down with what Trump is doing and they're fleeing. Now, they're not suddenly becoming, I've said this before, when we see people who decide that they're no longer going to support Donald Trump, it doesn't mean they've suddenly become like really woke and that they're going to say the right things or pick up all of your political ideology. It just means they're not happy with what Trump is doing. They've not been courted and seduced and tempted or what have you by the Democrats. They're just pissed at Trump. They say not that, right?